cut that shit. Gonna ask twice? I am Unit. What's poppin'? Top of the morning, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Hopefully you guys are whooping that ass, man. We got Monday Night Raw later this evening, tonight. Who's excited for Monday Night Raw, man? Let me hear you. Okay, I heard nothing. Nothing but crickets. I'm gonna ask again. Who's excited for Monday Night Raw tonight? Let me hear you. Okay, literally, I'm not even gonna bullshit here. Literally nobody. Nobody made noise. Okay, nobody's excited for Raw. I can't say I blame you. But we're still gonna be on this channel within the next 24 hours with a review, I assure you. We're gonna dissect this motherfucking show tonight like nobody in this community is able to do. And we're gonna do it amplified style, baby. We're going to talk the morale in WWE. It's quite possibly at its lowest once again. That's right. There was another low point like this a couple of years ago, right before AEW. And I kind of want to go over that. And then I'm going to go over to how bad the morale is right now in that locker room. And I know you're thinking, BC, it's been that way for years. But no, there's been ebb and flows. For the most part, everybody's pretty much comfortable in the locker room, right? There's a shit ton of individuals that are always looking over their shoulder, thinking they're going to get released, but they're still comfortable. They're still, for the most part, pretty happy they have a fucking job there. But this is the second time within 5 years, twice within the last couple of years, actually, that we're starting to hear that that locker room is in turmoil. The WWE locker room, before Vince is even able to sell the company, that locker room might implode long before. We're going to go over exactly what BC's talking about in just a minute. Couple of things first and foremost. Number one, I want to thank all the newer subscribers that jumped on board last week. We had a huge uptick in subscribers, and I think it has a lot to do with that AEW review that I put out this week. I don't think people knew that there was somebody in this community that was that truthful on AEW. I think people thought that I just straddled the fucking line of one company or the other. And just because I'm really hard on WWE, I think a lot of people thought that I just, coddled the balls of AEW. And while I want to see AEW succeed, that's not the case. I'm going to call out when there's bad, or when shit just doesn't make sense, or when shit was just wrong. And a lot of you guys, even AEW, hardcore fans of AEW, were thanking BC this week for a truthful review. And I held nothing back, as I usually don't. But a lot of you guys just really loved that review, man. And I think that was a huge part. And then just every video afterwards, man, I just saw that uptick in subscribers. So I really want to thank not just my veteran subscribers, obviously. That's my AMP unit, man, tried and true. But for newer subscribers, thanks for giving BC a chance, man. Thanks for clicking on the vid and watching the entire vids. And then going, damn, this dude's the real truth in the community. This guy's the real deal. I appreciate that, man. Welcome on board. And you can expect that going forward, I assure you. The second thing I want to go over real quick, man, because I know I've made so many videos about this in the last month, last couple of weeks especially, and that's Triple H. Because Jim Cornette made some comments. Whether you love Jim Cornette or not, this is a dude that has spent many years right next to Vince McMahon. So he made a comment that kind of got the Triple H discussion going again. And he made a comment that Vince McMahon, in all of these releases, it's pretty much a slap in the face of Triple H. And this led people to go, wow, well, I wonder if there's a vendetta between Vince McMahon and Triple H. I wonder if there's some animosity. I mean, Triple H must be so pissed off over what has happened to his NXT. And BC has told you, one video after another, that there is no vendetta. There's no personal vendetta from Vince McMahon to Triple H. BC told you that that's actually Dusty Rhodes' NXT. Triple H took that NXT that Dusty Rhodes has already presented to him. Dusty Rhodes made that NXT, and then Triple H just took it over. So let's get that clear first of all. That was always Dusty's. Triple H never spent a dime in NXT. Triple H never had to spend any of his money. He was always borrowing all of that money from Vince McMahon. That was always his father-in-law's cash. Triple H never had to spend a dime. Vince McMahon actually lost money every year on NXT. There's a little fact for you. So when Vince McMahon finally found out that, okay, NXT is just not delivering. It's just everything Triple H said he could do. Beat Tony Khan. Triple H could whoop AEW in the ratings. You know, when it was all said and done, Vince McMahon eventually turned to Tony Khan because Vince McMahon wants to sell the company. That's just the truth. So he took Nick Kahn, different Kahn, and he said, do whatever you need to do to package this company up, put a bow on it, so when somebody wants to buy it, we can entertain the idea. And Nick Kahn did that, right? Nick Kahn literally told Vince McMahon, we need to make 100 fucking cuts. We need to release 100 wrestlers, basically. It's over 80 by now, easily. And everybody thought it was just a vendetta against Triple H. No, this was business. It sucks. Some of these cuts are mind-boggling, especially to BC. It's some of my favorites. Mickie James, Bray Wyatt. Fuck, bro. But everybody said it was only Triple H cuts, right? I mean, everybody is just to ruin Triple H because it's all of his creations. But that wasn't true. I mean, you go back and you look at this whole list. This wasn't just Triple H creations. This was Nick Kahn eliminating anybody that he saw fit. Mickie James got released. She was not a Triple H creation. Bray Wyatt, my favorite, Wyndham Rotunda, was not a Triple H creation. Got booted. Fucking Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman, when you think Braun Strowman getting released, you don't think that's a slap to Triple H. Braun Strowman was a Vince McMahon monster. John Morrison got released. Nothing to do with Triple H. This guy was shooting water guns and doing yoga backstage and dressing up as a bunny rabbit, and then he gets released. I doubt that's a slap in the face to Triple H. Lana is not a slap in the face to Triple H, but she got released. Nia Jax was a Vince McMahon Samoan, related to The Rock. Nothing to do with Triple H. Just because they came from NXT. That was Vince McMahon who catapulted her to the promised land. Nia Jax getting released. I'm sure Triple H didn't lose sleep. It's just weird, man. Fandango got released. That's nothing to do with Triple H. It doesn't matter if they came from NXT originally. Kalisto getting released. We're really gonna show Triple H. My point is, guys, I can go on and on, right? A shit ton of names had nothing to do with hurting Triple H. This was absolutely gutting NXT, but gutting WWE as a whole to package it up, put a bow on it, and make it more admirable to potential buyers. Make it more sexy for potential buyers, man, and they tightened it up. They cut loose some of those bigger contracts, trimmed the fat over here. If it seems like it was a lot of people from NXT, that's because that was developmental. What else do you want? WWE's developmental just happened to become a third brand, and Triple H thought he could compete with AEW, and he couldn't. And he got his ass whooped. They lost touch with who they were. They're half developmental, they're half a third brand. But what ended up happening is they just became a third brand. They forgot who they were and their identity. So most people came from NXT because that's where everybody came from the main roster. That was their developmental. I don't know any other way to say this, guys. A lot of the people were from NXT. I would hope so. That's the whole system that they had. That's the farm system. Then they go to the main roster. Vince McMahon's gonna ruin you no matter what. I just gave you a plethora of names that Vince McMahon ruined that had nothing to do with really Triple H. Or some grand creation of Triple H's. Vince McMahon was going to ruin Shayna Baszler just as he was going to ruin Nia Jax because of booking. It doesn't matter if Karrion Kross and Keith Lee from NXT were going to be buried just as much as John Morrison or Bray Wyatt. They were all going to get destroyed one way or the other, either character-wise, booking-wise, or both. But Vince was going to find a way to destroy you. It doesn't matter if you're a Triple H guy. Nick Kahn was going to conduct his business. So BC has been telling you this, right? BC has told you, man, why everybody thinks Triple H is banging his head down in a basement against a cement wall. Stephanie McMahon is telling you that they all got together for Christmas dinner. Laughing, cracking the eggnog together, laughing to the bank, Triple H and Vince. Triple H defending Vince McMahon every chance he gets and throwing the fans under the bus for thinking that we know what's going on behind the scenes. Every time we criticize Vince McMahon, Triple H is there to say we don't know what we're talking about. But yet there's still people that defend Triple H. So Jim Cornette came up with this he started talking about it and it raised the questions again because he said it was a slap in the face to Triple H. But then when he was asked to indulge some more, Jim Cornette thought about it and he's smart on it. Jim Cornette is a dude that has sat by the side of Vince McMahon for years. So when Jim Cornette really got into the details of the conversation, this is what Jim Cornette said. And it's exactly what BC told you all of last month. Jim Cornette says, and I quote, "I think if you went up to Vince McMahon, even when he had all his faculties, much less today, and you said, 'Do you think you are erasing Triple H's legacy?' he would horse laugh in your face. He doesn't think about anyone's legacy except when he is buttering them up to be in the Hall of Fame. He's going with what Nick Kahn says they need to do." Who told you that? BC told you that. He hired Nick Kahn to do this, to literally gut NXT. Not just the wrestler releases, but literally the staff, the trainers, the William Regals, all the way to the fucking Scotty 2 Hotties if he didn't request his release. The Norman Smileys to the Samoa Joes. If you're gutting a company because you're doing a revamp for a potential sale, you want to get rid of the employees that have the old school mentality. That's in any business, whether it's Amazon or Coca-Cola, straight down to McDonald's. It's not just a WWE thing, guys. People think, oh, they saw William Regal and Samoa Joe and they think, wow, this is just to show Triple H who's boss. No, this is Nick Kahn doing business the way a Fortune 500 company would do that. They're gearing up for a sale. Jim Cornette's smart enough to know that, and he said Vince McMahon is just going along with what Nick Kahn says to do. Jim Cornette goes on to say he's probably pissed off with NXT because he got up on the wrong side of the bed, went down there, he's talking about Vince, went down there and saw a bunch of small interchangeable indie workers and not the talent that they had and the devoted audience that they had. Nick Kahn, this is Jim Cornette's words, Nick Kahn wanted to change things up and for whatever reason in Vince McMahon's mind has latched on that all of these people did not get the job done. So we will let Nick Kahn do what he wants to do and we will do this. And Vince's voice, "Bruce, damn it, get me some stars like the Warrior." Or whatever, I don't know, says Jim Cornette. And of course, Bruce Pritchard, Johnny Laurinaitis, they get blamed for everything when they're just the henchmen, the yes men of Vince McMahon. But just doing it this is Jim Cornette, this is his words, but just doing it to erase Triple H's legacy, he ain't thinking about that. He's thinking about business. He doesn't care. Triple H is his son-in-law, and I'm sure he is going to cuddle the grandkids at Christmas around the tree. Who told you that? That was BC. And of course, Stephanie confirmed that they were all together for Christmas. So yeah, Triple H is really pissed off, man. He's at Christmas dinner, cracking eggnog with Vince and laughs. Jim Cornette goes on to say, but when Titan Towers opens up on Monday, he will cut his nuts off if he has to, because it's his business. But he's not thinking about erasing anybody's legacy. End quote. That's Jim Cornette, guys. Whether you love him or hate him, this is a guy who sat next to Vince for years upon years. Knows him better than most people, because that was Vince's inner circle for years and years. And he's admitting, even when he said it's a slap in the face to Triple H, it's no personal vendetta. They're having Christmas dinner together. They're laughing to the bank. Triple H is coming back to work. He's already back to work. He's doing the NIL program promotion next in line. So he's already promoting the young up-and-comers for the fucking main roster NXT, for WWE as a whole. So Triple H is already back to work. Next month, February, he's coming back to work for NXT. Nick Kahn already confirmed that last month, or December. So anybody that thought that Triple H is in a war with Vince and vice versa, and that the legacy is consciously being destroyed. No, this is business 101, man. Nick Kahn was hired for a specific reason. This isn't just about erasing somebody's legacy. This is about selling WWE. They don't give a fuck. Vince McMahon and Nick Kahn, they don't give a fuck about WWE's legacy at this point. They just want to package it up, put a bow on it, maybe some ribbon, and sell it to the biggest potential buyer. Whether that be Walt Disney World, whether that be Fox, whether that be Comcast, Peacock, Universal, whether that be The Rock with other investors. Vince McMahon is ready to sell. Nick Kahn was hired to do that. NXT was not turning a profit. Year to year, they were a loss. Triple H kept saying, hey, let me get one more month. Let me get another month. USA Network started saying, hey, we're getting our asses whooped by the other wrestling show. Vince McMahon started saying, dude, what are you doing, bro? I mean, I can do it the way I want to do it. Package it up, make it a bright fucking Nickelodeon Cartoon Network splashed brand. So it's going to be more sellable, right? It's going to be colorful. And I'm not going to lose anything. I'm not going to lose any more money than I'm losing now. I'm not going to lose more audience. You were only pulling in 500,000 to 600,000. The new NXT is already doing that. So Vince said, I can package this up to be more sellable and not lose any more than I am. And he's not. He ended up being right. NXT 2.0 has the same fucking audience. And he's not losing any more money than he was. And now it's more sellable. I know this hurts. You don't want to hear this, right? And it's a sensational story to think about, right? It's a good talking point. It's a good clickbait, right? Oh, Vince McMahon's in a war with Triple H. Triple H is fucking distraught over what has happened over the last couple months with his NXT. No, it was never his. It was Dusty Rhodes's. He took it. He never had to spend a dime on it. It was all daddy-in-law's money. He got his toy taken away because he couldn't do the job, and he still's got his nose far up Vince McMahon's ass. Don't feel bad for Triple H. Relax. This dude is fine. He's cutting so much fucking checks right now, he's a multi-millionaire. And if Vince doesn't ever sell, he's gonna be the potential next owner with Stephanie, because Shane doesn't want that shit. Triple H is fine. In fact, the internal report that we got from Triple H on his feelings, the biggest internal report we got was from Wade Keller. And he said, what I'm hearing is Triple H is a little bummed. Those were the exact words. You can look it up yourself from Wade Keller. A little bummed over what has happened. But just a little. Because Vince told him, it's okay. This is what's going to happen. And Triple H, he's got his nose so far up McMahon's ass, he's like, okay. When do we get to cash our next checks, Vince? So, whether you love Cornette or not, man, hearing him break it down the same way that BC already broke it down last month, it goes to show you, BC knows a lot more than you think, bro. I didn't start this channel just as a fan to have a channel so other fans, we can all have a fan nerd convention, right? We can all be wrestling nerds and get together after the show and talk about it. No, that's not this channel. I don't give a fuck about a bunch of fucking wrestling nerds coming together and we all talk about wrestling. No. I want the most smartest fans imaginable in the wrestling community. I want the most badass fans. Because what we need to do on this channel is help change pro wrestling to be great again. We need professional wrestling to reach that promised land again. Will it ever be Attitude Era-esque? Most likely not. I don't think that's ever going to be even possible. But we can get wrestling to be better than what it is today. It's in shambles. It's on life support. So channels like this, we're going to make it better. But we can only do that if we have the smartest fans come to the channel. The smartest subscribers. And there's a lot of people, I say straight out, man, if you can't handle the amplification on the channel, if you don't think you're a smart fan that can handle truth, blunt, amplified honesty, then you need to hit the bricks. I'm not gonna fucking feel bad if you leave or fucking unsubscribe. Get the fuck out, bro. I'm not gonna lose any sleep. I got tens of thousands of subscribers. Badass. You taking off won't fucking hurt one bit. I need the best subscribers. Because we need to make this shit better, man. So, feeling bad for Triple H, that's not gonna cut it on this channel. You need to know the truth. You know, he's gonna throw you under the bus. This is all business. Triple H is right there in all of these meetings. He knows what's going on. He's not only okay with it at the end of the day, he's advocating with everyone else. So Jim Cornette, much props whether you love him or hate him. Much props for him breaking it down exactly like it is. Triple H ain't no victim here, bro. Triple H is right by Vince with all these decisions. And that leads me into what this vid is really about. We went long enough on that. We've been talking about this Triple H thing for so fucking long, but it's resurfaced with interviews like this and comments like this, and people just keep wanting to think that Triple H is a victim, and I just keep trying to educate. But it brings us to the next topic, man, the main topic, and that's the morale in WWE. With the latest release, or actually a requested release, by Mustafa Ali. Oh, he's called a Mustafa. Remember who you are. Remember. But Mustafa Ali has just requested his release. Now, it's early, very early on a Monday morning. I don't know if WWE has released a statement by the time this video has come out. So we don't know if they're going to honor that request. I would think they would. They don't want any more bad publicity than they're already getting. So I would think that in Vince McMahon's eyes and in Nick Khan's eyes, Ali didn't amount to anything, and they're not scared if he goes to AEW in 60 days or 90 days. I don't think Vince is going to lose any sleep over it. I think he is going to get it granted. But we'll find out over the next 48 hours, I'm sure. But a lot of people are shocked by Mustafa Ali's request. I'm actually not. If you followed this guy for the last several months especially, but throughout his main roster run, he's always been kind of vocal about wanting more, about not being happy, about what he's given. He's always kind of been that way. So when this news broke, BC was like, what took so long? I mean, I kind of always expected this. But I want to give you guys his exact quote, first of all, for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about. Ali put out this message 24 hours ago. I have a first of all, he captioned this with, I am requesting my release from WWE. And he went on to say, I have a message that is much bigger than my dreams in pro wrestling. Despite my best efforts, I will not be able to deliver this message while working with WWE. Therefore, I am requesting my release from WWE. So no jabs to Vince McMahon and WWE, but he comes right out and says that his message, what he desires, is bigger than his dreams in pro wrestling. And despite his best efforts, he is not going to be able to accomplish that in WWE. Despite his best efforts. Now, there's been some rumors going on that him and Vince McMahon had a big backstage blowout backstage. Okay, that might be true. Maybe several arguments with Vince McMahon. Whether they were arguments or cordial, he's admitting that they had conversations, right? When he says, despite my best efforts, that means that he has gone to management one too many fucking times and has been denied to the point where now he's got to leave. Despite his best efforts, he went on in another interview. This is Ali I'm talking about, Mustafa Ali. He went on in another interview recently and he talked about how he came to management with one idea after another and each one got rejected. Sound familiar? Bray Wyatt always said that. Malachi Black, Aleister Black always said that he had one idea after another. Ali said that he was told to stay home for 7 months with nothing. They had nothing for him. Sound familiar? Malachi Black said that same story. For 7 months, he sat home waiting and waiting. Drawing up ideas on a fucking notepad. All these awesome ideas they thought, and one by one they got rejected when they finally got the phone call to come back. This is the same story we hear over and over. We hear Malachi talking about how Vince McMahon basically mind-fucked him. Stripped down the self-confidence and the self-esteem. We heard the same story with Shayna Baszler. All of her interactions with McMahon. And she walks out of that office confused. What I'm saying is this is not the first time we hear stories like this. Now, BC's not here to act like Ali is going to break WWE. A WWE without Ali is going to destroy WWE. Of course not. I'm not going to embellish this, over-exaggerate it, over-dramatize it. No. It's fucking Ali. We get it. It's sad to say that because the guy could have possibly been something in the company if given a real chance, and don't you dare say that Retribution was a real chance. That was a fucking sentence upon entering that storyline. A prison sentence, a death sentence, it doesn't matter. It was a sentence. That's not a chance. Ali did his best to make it work. But they just never gave the booking of Retribution a real chance. They never gave Retribution the identity that it needed, the time, the care, the effort. And when fans spoke out and said, hell no, you gotta change this, this, and this, because this is just really bad, Vince never listened to us. He kept parading out the same tired act that was not stale, it was just bad. And Retribution fell to the wayside in flames. Not in a blaze of glory, I assure you. So don't use Retribution like that was Ali's chance. No, he was never given a real chance. And because of that, even people like BC never really got on board the Ali train. Because you gotta give him a little bit. Right? We'll never know if he would have been really big. He had the skill. We never really got captivated. He was good on the mic. We never got captivated with his promos. But he was always good at promos. Could you imagine if he was involved in something we gave a shit about? Maybe we would have been captivated. Could he hold a storyline on his back? We never got a true chance to see if he could. With consecutive storylines. It was always yin-yang booking with Ali. So we can't really talk trash about the dude, right? There's people on social, I'm sure, oh, it's just Ali, who gives a fuck? Well, BC gives a fuck. Because it's not just Ali. It's one wrestler after another. It's Malachi. Then it becomes Ali. Then what? It was John Morrison even before that. Then what next great wrestler's next? Your beloved Ricochet, who I just said on the SmackDown review this past week, he is now a clown show. He's just a joke in WWE. He's a fucking glorified gymnast. Every time I see Ricochet, automatic L. And that's sad. And people probably heard those words and went, damn, BC, that's harsh. It is harsh. It's harsh truth, though. So who the fuck is next? To either ask for the release or get released without having a real chance to be anybody in that company. Take your fucking pick. Ali is just one in an assembly line. The bigger issue here is that Vince McMahon has all of this talent and doesn't do jack shit with it. And because of that leads to my main topic in this video, the morale in the company. You guys remember, just a couple years ago, before AEW really took off, with Dynamite and the whole brand as a whole, the whole company, WWE was at its lowest point in terms of the roster being at the lowest morale possible. You had people like Rusev, Miro. You had people like FTR. You had people like Brody Lee, Luke Harper. All at the same time, guys. All of these names and many more. The Zack Ryders, all of them. They were all going on social and they were pleading how frustrated they are. Pleading, a lot of them, that they wanted their release. But WWE wouldn't give it to them, like Luke Harper, Brody Lee. People like FTR and Rusev, they were still under contract. They didn't give a fuck. They were blasting WWE because they just wanted out. Mox, Dean Ambrose didn't give a fuck about how he was talking about in interviews. The morale was so fucking low, and these were people that were still in the locker room, and BC talked about it. Here we are a couple years later, and I'm starting to see the same thing happen. I'm starting to see, it's not just with all the releases, 80 to 100 releases within the last fucking couple years alone, last year alone. It's not just the releases and now everybody on that roster looking over their shoulder, paranoid, having anxiety that when the phone rings and it's a Connecticut number, it could just be Johnny Laurinaitis giving them those walking papers. No, it's not just that that's lowering the morale. It's the decisions they're making booking-wise, like at the Day One premium event when Brock Lesnar got thrusted into the WWE title match. And Bobby Lashley just recently told all of us the true feelings that the other participants were feeling on that day. Bobby Lashley said his first instinct was to tell everyone, get me out of the match. Bobby Lashley was frustrated to the highest point. He told the agents, get me out of the match. And he said in that same interview, Bobby Lashley said there was a lot of people that were not happy with what was going down. Who do you think those lot of people are? We said from the jump when we heard the interview, Seth Rollins, was one of them, Kevin Owens, Big E, and a lot more people in that locker room. Most were probably pissed off that Brock Lesnar was in that main event and winning the championship. And people said it was just people like BC that were just making a big thing out of nothing. It's just entertainment. I don't know why this guy's going on YouTube and he's all pissed off. No. Because what did I tell you? This channel isn't just for fans to get together. This isn't a nerd convention for pro wrestling. No, this is to be the voice of the wrestlers that can't speak out. The voice of the voiceless, if you will, within those companies. Because this is the channel that helps professional wrestling, and we do that as the pro wrestlers are the vehicle. We speak on behalf of these pro wrestlers. I said in the review of Day One that is the most tragic situation that these wrestlers could have been in. I said in that review that people like Big E got done not dirty, but filthy. And Bobby Lashley backed up those words. That's how BC in the Amplified Unit felt about the Day One premium event decision with Brock Lesnar getting the title. But how did the wrestlers feel? The wrestlers felt the same way as BC. And now we know that because of Bobby Lashley's own words in that interview. He came right out and told the truth. I said, I was so frustrated, I said, get me out of the match. And then he went on to say that there was a lot of people just pissed off. And then Big E just cut his latest interview. Big E admitted that he was not happy. And to this day, he is not happy with the decision. He didn't want to be. Big E even said he didn't want to do the same thing that Kofi Kingston did, which is get the title during Kofi Mania, then they take it off of him. And his title reign was pretty much irrelevant, and then he never got back to the promised land. His booking was pretty mediocre. Big E said he doesn't want that. Big E is still pissed. So it's not just the releases, it's the decisions that they're making in the company that are taking your main eventers like Big E, Kevin Owens, Bobby Lashley, Seth Rollins, and they're pissed off. Seth Rollins is currently being fed to Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns made Seth Rollins look like an idiot this past week on SmackDown. Go back and check my review out. I detail every fucking part of that promo between Rollins and Roman. But I'll give you a little bit of a fucking shell of what we talked about. You go back and you listen to Roman tell Seth Rollins. Now, Rollins is a heel. Rollins is supposed to be giving scathing promos to faces. Instead, Roman is looking into the eyes of Rollins and he says, look at you. You're a clown. You dress like a clown. You sound like a clown. You're a clown. You're below me. You're beneath me. You're wasting my time. You're not even a big enough star in your household. If I wanted to go against a megastar, I'd go against Becky Lynch. This is basically a quote. He annihilated Seth Rollins verbally. Your heel should not be annihilated like that by another heel. He got out-heeled, he got out-promoed, and it made Seth Rollins look like a fucking clown. And that's a shame because I like Rollins, and I think so much has gone into this new character. Seth Rollins has went all in, and Vince McMahon is feeding him, just like he did Cesaro. Just like he did Big E. And that's what he's doing here, just like he did with Finn Balor, right? These are all people that literally got fed to Roman Reigns and have never been the same since. Finn Balor, Cesaro, Big E on a losing streak after his loss to Roman, even losing the title. And now it's going to be Seth Rollins. They're just going to be fed one by one. It's one thing to just lose to Roman, but when you're fed to Roman, you're there just to take a verbal ass whooping and a physical ass whooping, and then you get thrown into obscurity? Bro, that's being fed to somebody. That's being done dirty, even filthy. So back to what I was saying, it's not just the releases. It's not even just the booking, and your top stars are pissed off. And these are the people that defend the company. Still will. They still will go in interviews today, and they'll try to put the company on a pedestal. But in these recent interviews, even your top stars are starting to show cracks. They're pissed off. And it goes beyond the releases. It goes beyond the booking of your top stars, and now they're frustrated. Your whole bulk of your roster is scared shitless they're going to be released. BC just put out a video last week. It was about what I'm starting to hear. The biggest releases are supposed to be right after WrestleMania this year. Because Nick Kahn, Vince McMahon, is serious about selling. So they're going to do one bulk release party, if you will. It's a party for Vince. Because he gets to fucking shed off all of this talent. They're not going to do it like 2021 where it was 3 separate occasions. They're going to rip the Band-Aid off. They're going to have a bulk. I'm guessing 50 motherfucking wrestlers are going to be released all in one day. And it's planning. It's already being planned for right after WrestleMania. So now you have the bulk of your fucking roster looking over their shoulder, panicking. Every day they go to work, to the point where even people like Ali, and I told you guys names on the chopping block. I even put Otis and Gable because that's what I'm hearing, and they just won championships. And people go, I guess they're safe, BC. Nah, watch them lose it at the Royal Rumble back to RK, bro. Watch it just be hot potato. And Gable and Otis are right back into irrelevancy and then released right after WrestleMania. Don't be shocked. But I told you Ali's one of the names on the chopping block. And he most likely knew that. BC, right again. You don't think people like Ali know that he's probably on the chopping block and he's going to go out on his fucking terms? The morale is so low that people are looking over their back constantly thinking they're going to be released. That good talent in your company is asking to be fired, basically. They're asking for the release. Good talent like fucking Ali. Just like back in the day when good talent like FTR and fucking Brody Lee, Luke Harper, Rusev, how do you have them begging for their release? And now I'm starting to see it again. Ali's just the tip of the iceberg. You think this is it? Do you think Ali doesn't have friends in that locker room? Do you think Ali just woke up and said, I think I'm going to ask for my release today? Of course not. This has been ongoing, right? Ali's been talking to all of his friends, and I'm guessing they're his friends because they think alike. I'm guessing his buddies, they think the same thing. You think Ali's the only one in the fucking locker room? He sits by himself at catering? He's got no friends? I have no friends. You think he does that? No. Just like Rusev and Brody and FTR back in the day, man, they talk. They talk. Do you think Bobby Lashley was the only one pissed off at what happened at day one with Brock Lesnar? No. In fact, he admitted. Bobby Lashley admitted. There were so many people pissed off. So many. Ali asking for his release is just the start. We're going to start to see more of this. The more and more people see that they're not a part of WrestleMania, or they're going to be part of a fucking 75-man Andre the Giant Battle Royal on the pre-show, they're going to know that their time is up. They're going to know that they're going to get released. Now, it's all about, do I gamble and see if I am? Or do I go out like a man and ask for my release? I'm not going to let Vince fire me. Ali was just the first of many. This tells you, man, for anybody going, oh, it's just Ali, I don't see what the deal is. It's a bigger problem. Bigger problem. From the releases Because this company is selling, and none of these men and women mean a damn thing to Vince McMahon. They're all just a price tag at this point. It's from the releases to the bad fucking booking, because Vince McMahon, again, doesn't give a fuck about these men and women, so he doesn't care if they're stars. In fact, he probably doesn't want any of them to think that they're bigger than the company. It's the releases, it's the booking, it's the paranoia, it's them not being fucking happy when they go to work. Britt Baker just came up with fucking, I love Britt Baker's quote. I hope I can get this up. Please, let me get this up, because she had something fucking brilliant, man. And it was about WWE's interest in her, and she said this. I think I got it up. Let me give her an exact quote from Britt Baker. She says, as far as WWE having interest in, can you trust them? Can you go there? She says this, and I quote from Britt Baker, I mean, exactly. I can't disagree with you. They definitely expressed interest. Unfortunately, and I've got to pick and choose how I say this, she says that because her husband, of course, is Adam Cole. He still has a good relationship with some people in WWE. He doesn't want to exactly burn the bridge. So Britt Baker says, I have to kind of pick and choose my words. But Britt Baker says, and I quote, I just feel like you can't trust anything with that company. That's a quote from Britt Baker. And she's married to Adam Cole, who was just there. Adam Cole was never even on the main roster. He had a match or two, one with Daniel Bryan, because the roster was stuck. Maybe even Saudi Arabia. But so Adam Cole had to fucking save the day on SmackDown. But he had a couple matches on the main roster, but he was mostly NXT. And Adam Cole has told her, you can't trust a damn thing they say in that company. She literally says, I just feel like you can't trust anything with that company. Whereas in AEW, I have never been promised anything that didn't follow through. That's a quote with Baker. She knows you can't trust the company. That's paranoia. When you go to work and you can't trust your boss, you can't trust the process, you can't trust the booking, you can't trust what you're told because you know it's going to change and it's most likely going to make you look like a fucking idiot. That's why people like Ali are fucking asking to get the fuck out. Now, this is going to bring up, does Ali go to AEW? That's just another name. Tony Khan is already having problems. Tony Khan cannot handle a fucking Ali. I wish people would stop thinking about all the great matches that you can have and start thinking about a company that is eventually going to fucking sink. This is exactly what Vince said several months ago in that conference call. He said, maybe we can keep giving them, meaning AEW, more of our talent. Do you know why Vince wants to do that? Because he knows Tony will be impulsive, buy all of this talent in, bring it onto the ship, and instead of that ship sailing, it's gonna sink. There's gonna be too much weight on it. Especially when you're hiring people like fucking Lio Rush, and Tony Nese, and Danny Garcia. Where does it end? If you bring in fucking Ali now. Where does it end, man? How are you gonna fit all those people on with Dante Martin and Sammy Guevara? You can't even fit Jay Lethal. Jay Lethal is on Dark. Jay Lethal's one of the best wrestlers in the world. He's on Dark. He'll get his time, basically. That's the problem. As he's on Dark, Tony's keep brings in more people. It's the Christian effect. Remember when Christian came in, we all thought, oh, it's a big signing. He was about to go straight for the title. We raised concern, so they delayed it, right? Christian's going to get the title later. What happened was more and more big talent ended up coming in. Christian never got the title. Christian ended up going to fucking Jurassic Express. He's just a third wheel now. I'm sure Christian thought he was going to be a big dog in AEW. Christian fell to the wayside, bro. Now we're at a point where we don't even know when Bryan Danielson or CM Punk can even get the title because everybody wants Hangman to have a long title reign. But by the time Hangman loses it, who the fuck? Kenny Omega needs another run with it, obviously. You gotta have Bryan Danielson get a run with it. Is CM Punk ever gonna get it? By then, do you have Wyndham Rotunda? Does Malachi Black never get the title, or is it 5 years from now? They have so much talent. You say that's a good problem to have, but when you have over 120, which is what Tony has, that's too much for a company that only has a fucking 2-hour main show and a 1-hour secondary show in Rampage. I don't give a fuck about Dark. I don't care about the fucking Elevation or Innovation or Execution, whatever the fuck the fucking other show is. I don't care about all the YouTube matches. I care about that 2 hours on Wednesday and that 1 hour on Rampage, and 120 motherfuckers is too much. So sure, bring in Ali. You're only gonna sink your ship even more. Tony Khan in AEW, I'm already starting to see a lot of cracks. Tony Khan is already starting to crack under the pressure. He can't carry all these storylines. He can't carry all of these individuals. And Tony Khan is starting to fucking lose it. So if you truly care about AEW, you're gonna say, stop, shut the door. I don't care if it's a forbidden door, a lovable door. I don't care what kind of door Tony Khan has, shut it. A back door, a side door, an attic door, a basement door, shut it. Nobody else can come in unless your name is maybe Bray Wyatt, Wyndham Rotunda, because he can transform a company. Or the Briscoe brothers. That's a personal favorite. But you can't get everybody. So I don't know what Ali does, but he says he has a message that's bigger than his dreams in pro wrestling. He didn't just say WWE. So maybe pro wrestling as a whole is going to take a back seat. We'll see. I just have my reservations for just throwing him into AEW. But if you think, just like a couple years ago, that WWE isn't at the lowest point of morale, then you don't know what you're fucking talking about. Thankfully, you're watching BC, because I'll inform you. I'll educate you. WWE right now, and I know you could say BC, for the past 5 years, they've been at the lowest morale. But there's been points, if you follow the ebb and flow, there's been points, whether it's literally at rock bottom. It was a couple years ago I noticed it, and right now I'm starting to notice it. Not just the releases. It's like I said, listen to the interviews with Bobby Lashley and Big E. These are your biggest superstars. Look at how Rollins is being fed to Roman. Look at people like Ali saying, I want out of here. I'm telling you, you're going to hear more and more about this as we get closer to Mania. And then afterwards, with all the releases that are coming, this is rock bottom. And either they're going to sell this year or they're going to be in a world of hurt. I'm the Amplified Man. I don't know if I want to... There was another couple of subjects I want to talk about, but we're getting close to an hour. So I don't know if I want to... Yeah, I don't know if I want to touch up on some things, man. You see this... This is going to be people that love John Cena are going to turn on him now. John Cena confirms that he has not watched AEW as a headline today. I don't know why that's a fucking headline. John Cena is one of the busiest dudes imaginable. And when he has his off time, his hobby, just like BC, I'm busy as fuck. This channel is actually my hobby. It's grown into something bigger, but I still do a million other things. I just don't do YouTube 24/7. I think people know that there's a lot of content creators that just do this full time. BC is not one of them. But it's like John Cena. In his off time, he does the pro wrestling thing. But John Cena says, and I quote, I haven't watched AEW. Do I think competition is good? I think competition is great. There is internal competition within WWE about performers wanting to be champion, performers wanting to be headliners. I think whenever there is more buzz around an industry, it is good for the industry. But no, I have not watched AEW. So I just don't know why people are going to make that a big deal. John Cena is not going to sit down and watch AEW. I truly believe that. So people are going to call him a liar. People are going to say, why not, man, you WWE shill? Of course. John Cena is WWE through and through. He waves that flag bigger than anyone else. So just relax on John. Cut him some slack, man. You can rag on him for holding people down in his run and playing half face, half heel during his entire fucking career, which blocks both areas, heel and face. It blocks both avenues for anybody that wants to be an up-and-coming heel and face. That's why I say John Cena hurt the business big time. But I wouldn't rag on him for this. Anyway, I think that's it. BC Amplify, man. If anything breaks later in the day and I'm able to, we'll come out with it, man. I don't care if I gotta break live wherever I am in the world. We'll do it, but... I think the next time we'll all shoot the shit will be the Monday Night Raw review over the next 24 hours. So make sure you are subbed and notified. Thank everybody, man. Every single one of you for taking the time to smash that up too. Greatly appreciate it, man. The algorithm, it helps out. So thank you for taking a moment to smash that. All my tried and trues. Until next time, guys, the Amplified Man. And we out. Check your leader. And don't forget, think, be, live, amplified always. Not some of the time. Always. Check you out. Hit my motherfucking music! Let's rock that shit!